So this is the bathroom once it's finished. It's not completely finished. We're still going to put some more plants in, especially over the door right there. We're going to put a couple of plants there. And we did put shelves up, which you will see in a little bit. And we are planning on putting knickknacks and plants there. I put some of my paintings that I've done in there as well. I am really loving the bathroom. Again, it's not totally decorated yet, but it will be. Also in the other area, I'll put my painting that I have been working on as well. So that is the update for the bathroom. Now I want to switch gears. I made a little bird sculpture to put on my mailbox. And I used air dry clay from Amazon. I'll try to remember to link it down below. It is the best air clay. When working with air clay, you have to remember, one, not to use too much water, and two, when you go to dry it, put it in a plastic bag. Like I put it in a shopping plastic bag, because you do not want it to dry too quickly or it will crack. And if you use too much water, it will also crack. This clay is fantastic for doing sculptures like I'm doing right now, and also for doing on the pottery wheel. It works for both. This is what I have been using, and I love it. So as you saw, I am using these stirrers. Two of them are together just to give me the right depth of how, fat I want the clay to be. And I use different things in order to make my spheres. They're half spheres right now, and that's what they're going to be. And this is kind of the concept you use to make spheres, is you do two of them and then you put them together. But I'm using half, again, because this is going on my mailbox. I totally forgot how to do this. It took me quite a while to remember what things I used in order to make the spheres, like the cup, to make how round it is and all of that kind of stuff. But I ended up getting it together and creating the bird. The only thing that I forgot to film is the wings, how I did the wings. But I did find a template of a wing that I liked and then just cut it out. Again, making sure that the thickness, that was the word I was looking for, is the right thickness for the whole thing. And then you just put it on the way you normally would. You score, and you should use slip, but I didn't have any slip, so I kind of made some slip, which you'll see here in a little bit, by just taking a little bit of the clay and some water and kind of melting it to make the slip. But I have since made real slip to use in my future projects that I'm going to do. I ended up just mapping out the back part of the bird, and you will see what I'm talking about with how you adhere clay to clay. You score it, you slip or water in this case, and it glues it together. It's quite fascinating, actually. The only thing that I am upset about with this bird is the neck. I kept messing with it too much, and oh my gosh, it ended up looking really, really weird. It was very long. It almost looked like a dove, and I'm like, okay, this is not what I want it to look like. So I had to play with it for a while. I did not film that either because it just took a lot of finessing to do, just building up with more clay. But in the end, I ended up making it the way that I had envisioned it in the end. Back to the wings. This is how you would put the wings on. You would score it and use water to put the wings after you cut them out with the template. Again, I apologize for not filming that. I don't know what happened to that coverage. But I think what the issue is I'm having, when I'm out in my studio, out in the garage, I use my battery on my camera. So I have gotten into the habit of just turning off the camera instead of hitting the stop or, the record button like I normally would do. And I think that's what confuses me. I think that when I turn on the camera in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to roll. And that is not the case. So that's why I think some of my footage is missing. So again, I apologize. But to get it good and sealed, you do want to keep going around. And I kind of like pinch the seams together and then smooth it out. Again, you need to be careful though with the water. You don't want to use too much water on air dry clay. Because if you do, it may crack. So just be mindful of that. And this is where the neck situation went awry. I edited a lot of it out, but again, I did fix it in the end, and really think it turned out cute. It did take this about a week to dry, again because I put it in a plastic bag, because I do not want it to dry too quickly. So that is why this video is taking a while to get out. But the next thing that I'll be working on is here. I'm just showing you all what I'm trying to do with fixing this neck. And I did not have all my tools out either. That was a part of, I should have gotten some more of my tools out, which I didn't. But I thought I could do it with what I just had out. But I make its eyes, which are just, round circles, round little balls cut in half. And I do have water on my fingers to adhere it to the face. I'll make the little beak. And the beak is kind of cool to make. You kind of make it into a little tube, and then you pinch the ends together to make like two triangles, and you cut it in half as you see, and then you put it on his face. It looks a little, I'm not gonna lie, the beak now looks a little wonky, but I'm okay with that. Some birds have wild looking beaks. They're not all perfect. And so my little bird doesn't have to be perfect either. It's kind of hard to get in there, when it's such a small little area. So again, some of it looked a little wonky, but in the end, I think he turned out super duper cute. I will use the wire cutter to cut his mouth to make it look like, it's a beak, that it's kind of opened. And I knew I wasn't too worried either about it not being totally smooth, because I knew I would end up sanding it once it got dried, which I did. I did not film that either. I mean, it's just sanding the bird. I do want to talk about, he is going to be on, if you saw the thumbnail, he's on a branch. The part that the two leaves are on broke. I cannot even count how many times. I've had forgotten how many times, and still I started editing. And this is me making the branch. So that was very frustrating. Even after it dried, it broke. So I had to fix it. And that's when I created Real Slip to help try to adhere it. And that ended up working. And the cool thing about the slip too is I realized after kind of fixing where the leaves in the part of that branch is at, that it looked more like a tree because of the way that I kind of drizzled it on. So I went ahead and drizzled it on the whole branch to make it look more tree-like. So that was a happy little accident, as Bob Ross would say. But I wasn't too concerned about making this perfect. Like, I just pulled that apart. I didn't cut it because I wanted it to look organic, right? I wanted it to look like a branch. I didn't want it to be perfect. So, and I knew too that I was going to use a wire brush to create the look of the texture of the branch, because I did want it to have texture. I didn't want it to be smooth. So that is why this is not, perfectly smooth, perfectly cut and all of that kind of stuff, because that was just not what I had envisioned for this branch. I actually twisted it because I wanted it to look like it was a branch that was moving, away from the bird. But I adhere the bird the same way that I did everything else. It just score it, use water in this case because I had not made the slip yet, and pinched it on so that it would be together. And this was the beginning of the breakage of this of this branch. But I never gave up on it. I never gave up on my vision of what I wanted this branch to look like. So I worked diligently on it to help make it look like what I wanted it to look like. I'm planning on doing some more clay sculptures, making some spheres and making some other little sculptures to go outside. So be on the lookout for that. My bathroom, again, plants, but I'm probably going to go this weekend to look at more house plants to put in there. I'm thinking I already have a wandering Jew, so I'm thinking of like propagating it to put a wandering Jew in there. I'm thinking of maybe spider monkey or spider grass, or is it spider monkey grass, something like that. I don't know, but I'm just thinking of different things to put in that. I am working on my painting. I'm waiting for it to dry. I did film what I've done on that. So my painting is almost finished that I started probably 2 years ago, maybe. I don't know. But it's coming. And once it gets done, I will put that in my bathroom as well. And I'm thinking about doing another painting that is of flowers in the bathroom. So in using acrylics for that, not oils. So, and I'm also thinking of using a couple of my watercolor paintings that I've done to put in there as well. So, but here I am just making the branch look more like a branch and scoring it to get it on. Also in my bathroom, I did buy that shelf in the corner to put all of our stuff on from Amazon. So and that helps tremendously. It makes the bathroom not look so cluttered, and I absolutely love it. So we're really liking the bathroom. Barry really, really likes it too. But the painting, I'm just too old to be doing that. I don't think I will ever paint a room ever again. It was a lot of work, more than what I remember. I'll stick to painting my sculptures and, art painting. That I think is what I'm going to stick to. So again, I'm making sure, back to the sculpture, I'm making sure that I'm not using too much water, even though you do need to use water in order to glue these things together. But clay is so remarkable. It's so wild that you can just score it, put a little bit of water on it, and it just like sucks together and glues. It's incredible. I do use a little bit. Again, I'm trying to make a kind of a slip here. I put a little bit of clay and then water to kind of make a slip. But again, I've made real slip since doing this, because I knew I would be making more sculptures for outside. I have such a list, y'all, of things that I want to do. I don't know if I'm ever going to get them all done. I literally have at least 20 items on my list. And this was one that I wanted to get done because, it's spring. I'm planning on doing one for each month, a bird or an animal. I don't know if it'll be a bird. I was thinking this morning maybe I wanted to do a bunny and, just different animals instead of just birds. But my vision was to do a bird for each season. And of course, this is spring. So I do need to be making one for summer when summer gets here, fall and winter, just to put them on my mailbox, trade them out on my mailbox. Because I did have, I had made, well, I think, I've put it in my vlogs. They were mailbox decals that I had done with different, when the seasons changed. But they would kind of, because they were sublimation, they would kind of fade a little bit. So I was like, what can I do? So I painted the number on our mailbox, and then I ended up again making this bird. Now I'm moving on to making the flower part of this, because I wanted to put flowers on the bird because it's spring. At first I was going to put it on the branch, and the flower was a little bit too big, so then I was like, well, I'll put it on the bird. So I end up making 2 of these. I chose to use the, as you can see, the ball method. This is a really easy way to make flowers. You just take 5 balls that are the petals, and then you take 1 ball or 3, 4, ever how many petals you want to have on your flower. I wanted to have 5. So you put them together, and then you put another one in the middle to create the flower. And again, it's the same concept of using water to kind of glue them all together. That's what I ended up doing. And now I think if you get the air clay, like the Crayola air clay, I don't think it works the way this clay does, because again, this clay can be used for the pottery wheel. Because we have made the things that we have made, and I've shown them before, like our vases and bowls that Barry and I made, was from the pottery wheel, and it was from this clay. So this is really good clay. I feel if you're just a slab sculpture, or if you want to use it on the pottery wheel, and it's not that expensive at all. It's like 10 pounds of clay. And I don't remember how much it was, but it's affordable and it's nice. So as you see, I just used water to get it all adhered together, and then I'm just using part of a tool here to make the indents of the petals, and then you'll see me kind of pinch them into more petal shaped look for a flower. The leaves, I do use a what is it called? Oh my gosh, I'm having a brain fart right now. A cutter to cut out leaves. Instead of making the leaves, I just use the cutter and again adhere it the same exact way. This leaf was too big, so I end up using it on the branch part, and I use the smaller leaf for the flowers. And again, adhering them the way that I've adhered everything to this, and voila, you have a cutie patootie little bird. I did do this all in one day, the bird, because you need it to still be a little wet in order to put everything together. And now I'm just painting, and I don't think I have to really explain everything. At first I started using just the blue that came out of the bottle, but then I was like, no, this is not the blue I wanted. So I added a little bit of a light blue to it, and that ended up being the color. I will put more of a light blue on its chest because I knew I wanted it to have an orange chest. I mean, I'm thinking of a bluebird here, so I end up putting that on, putting orange with a little bit of yellow, then taking a script brush and putting a little bit of more of just the orange on to make it look like it's dimensional and with feathers, you know. And I also use just base colors to color the branch and the flowers and the leaves, like a darker one, and then I will dry brush on top of that with lighter colors to give it some dimension. And then I also just go back and do a little bit of detail work, just to make the leaves pop and the flowers and all that kind of stuff. I do end up sealing this, which I don't show, apologize, with Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch Ultra Cover Premium Latex Paint Clear Gloss. It is perfect for using things for outdoor, and this is also outdoor paint. And I want to make sure I say this because I've been thinking of it the whole time I did this. Make sure you paint every part of this clay. If not, if it's outside, the weather, the water will just disintegrate it. So using outdoor paint and then the Rust-Oleum Ultra Cover will seal this bad boy up, and weather will not affect it at all. So that is my biggest advice if you're going to do something like this and put it outside. I used E6000 and glued a big magnet on the back of it. And then I stuck it on my mailbox, and it is adorable. I love this guy. I thought about putting a straw hat on her, but I couldn't find one small enough. So it's just the way it looks. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, comment, like, all of that. It helps me so much, and I would appreciate it. All right, y'all. Y'all be good to one another. See you later. Bye.